I believe style is relevant. I believe it's the morale behind the style. People say, well, his style's gonna make him difficult, this style. No, it's not the style that matters, it's the morale behind the style that matters. Emotional state to prepare for that is, I found that the greatest conquerors that ever lived were farmers. I learned greatness was the willingness to die. We're gonna have to develop some kind of emotional intelligence. Time goes on, grasp what's ever going on and just form with it. As it changes, you change with it. Because it's very difficult when times change to change with the times.
Be water, my friend.
You could be the best physical shape in your right if you don't go out there with a good mental perspective is going to turn out disastrous.
My style is all about feel-good factor. And if I feel good, I'll fight excellent.
Prevents from doing the right thing from the wrong thing. Emotional intelligence. The majority of the world don't even possess. The word is not even 50 years old. So this is going to be a struggle for the next 100 years. That's going to have to be our main objective, to develop that. Emotional intelligence.
Hello. When you're riding a bike, what's the hardest part? The first pedal before you begin to build momentum, and if you're on a hill, that first pedal just gets significantly harder. But what happens when you start to build that momentum? Riding the bike, it just gets easier and easier. Of course, you do run the hills, and of course those hills, even if you're tired in your heart, you know you can handle it. Thus, you push past the pain and get present to the obstacle at hand. What happens after that? Inevitably, you reach level ground, or inevitably, you reach a downward slope, and from there, you can coast. It just gets easier. The work, it just does itself. Every time you stop, you have to rebuild that momentum. Thus, even though you got to rest, you will take longer having to restart that entire process. This same philosophy is how you can view the rhythmic nature of your emotions. After all, when you start feeling bad, anxious, depressed, unmotivated, uninspired, a lack of meaning, maybe hatred or disdain, when engulfed in negative emotions, what happens to your overall productivity? Unfortunately, due to your own mental state, we are inclined to not only slow down, but commonly, we stop what we're doing altogether, unable to muster the will to get past the hurdles forged by our very mind. All even when it's as if the task before us was simple as they may be, as healthy and as able as you may be. You just don't feel like putting forward your full potential. Vince Lombardi and Cus D'Amato, they were masters at shifting the individual state of mind so that they could extract more effort, more will, just overall more from the people in their care. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. Emotional intelligence helps you build stronger relationships, succeed at school, work, and achieve your career and personal goals. It can also help you to connect with your feelings, turn intention into action, and make informed decisions about what matters most to you. You begin to get a feel for how important this is.
From started around, I seen him all. He was too emotional. When I watched him, when he came in the ring, the first time I stepped in the ring, I looked at his face and I saw he was too emotional. I said, "There's no way he's gonna win." I was telling my trainer, I said, "He's gonna lose tonight."
As phenomenal as our capacities are to reason, to logically encapsulate reality, piecing together abstractions in hopes we can better leverage the patterns we observe, even though we can think, living life is something quite different altogether. That is the domain of the artist. So then, what is it that gets in the way of that simplicity? It's often ourselves. Most of us have caught ourselves many times standing in our own way because we're rarely mindful of how we feel, and because we don't know how to adjust to how we feel, we end up shackled by those feelings. After all, even if our mind is capable of tremendous logical reasoning, what do we use to make our decisions? Emotions. All decisions, they are emotional. Why do many of us take up a form of fighting? It's to establish a feeling of dominance, a form of self-respect, knowing you'll become dangerous, perhaps just establishing more comfort, confidence, and ease throughout that process. Ironically, learning how to fight so you're so confident in your ability to fight that it naturally deters the likelihood of being victimized into a fight in the first place. Food? You're hungry, establishing friendships or even further a community of people, mitigating that feeling of loneliness, which in turn also has you feeling more secure as we are tribal creatures that spent millennia working together. Now, do you ever think of these things logically, or is logical reinforcement established to justify the instinctive feeling? Think about that for a moment. You buy that car, or you wear that chain, because it flaunts wealth, which flaunts status, which in turn gives the sense that you'll more easily find a mate. And why do you want to do that? You are feeling randy and want to increase your chances. Maybe going to the gym to build a physique that's initially inspired for that same reason altogether. Because at our core, our base drives are to survive and reproduce, with the complex emotional responses we experience all stemming from that. In that sense, how much are we driven by feeling and emotion? We are fundamentally. Yet, how aware and how in control are we of our feelings and emotions? When you understand this, you begin to gain a glint of insight into how Cus D'Amato turned Mike Tyson into the monster he was. If you'd like to stay elevated, why not subscribe or hit the notifications? Thank you. If you enjoyed and would like to give back, why not smash that like button? It truly does mean a lot to me. Thank you again. You guys are always appreciated. Thank you for stopping by, and until next time, peace.